for any questions.
In this video, I'm sharing my experience of riding in a Waymo in San Francisco. I'll cover the positives of Waymo's self-driving tech, and some things to keep in mind about how they are different from human driving. Thank you for subscribing and watching. Before we dive in, let me briefly show you the Waymo booth at CES 2025 in Las Vegas. The star of the booth was the Zeekr RT, an electric vehicle from Geely, Volvo's electric car brand, which is expected to be supplied to Waymo later this year. As you can see, it even has a tiny self-cleaning system attached to the sensors. Next to it was the Hyundai Ioniq 5 for Waymo, which is planned to be released in 2026. Now let's get to my actual Waymo ride experience in San Francisco. Currently, they're operating only with Jaguar I-Pace vehicles. The Waymo car I was waiting for was parked in the middle of the road, blocking the entrance to a parking garage. I had to hurry to get in before another car came out of the parking lot. When I used the app to open the door, the car handle popped out. The passenger who was getting into the back seat walked a bit slower than me because she had a dog, so I opened the door for her. While we were getting into the car, as you can see, another Waymo vehicle approached from behind and passed us using the opposite lane, which was empty. As soon as I closed the door and sat down, the Waymo car announced the destination and started driving. It warned that the passenger in the back seat was not wearing a seatbelt and displayed a message on the screen. This was the same as when I first rode a Waymo in the passenger seat. The Waymo started driving before I buckled in, and gave a seatbelt warning after the car had already started moving. After that, the voice gave tips about riding a Waymo, which were only given once for the first ride with a new account.
We'll do all the driving, so please don't touch the steering wheel or pedals during your ride. We may use interior cameras, check on riders, improve our product, and more. But our microphones are only on when you're connected to rider.
During the ride, the screen showed a 360-degree view of the Waymo's sensors detecting objects such as bicycles, people, animals, vehicles, and buildings, illustrating the path we had followed in blue and the path ahead in green. Seeing not just people but their bicycles and dogs highlighted on the map gives greater confidence in the safety of the system. If you look to the left of the car now, you can see people on bicycles waiting for the traffic light, just as we saw on the screen. Waymo says the sensor monitors 300 meters in all directions, and we can see that it actually recognizes objects faster than human perception. Residents of San Francisco who have been observing Waymos in their neighborhoods since 2022 tend to assess a Waymo's driving skills as similar to a very good driver, with the ability to read traffic situations and make judgment calls quickly. There have been a couple of incidents of vandalism of Waymo cars, comparable to the Luddite movement that destroyed machines during the Industrial Revolution in the early 1800s. But most residents have favorable views of Waymo, and just as the Luddite movement that destroyed those machines failed, it seems that public opinion is that the development of this technology that reduces human labor, saves time, and provides greater convenience and statistically greater driving safety is a good thing. As you just saw, it's typical for a Waymo to slow down, wait for pedestrians to cross the street, and then make a left turn at a non-signaled intersection. This is another non-signaled left turn with stop signs in all four directions. The Waymo is waiting while a pedestrian crosses the street. We'll be almost at our destination after turning the corner. A message appears on the screen that the Waymo is looking for a place to pull over. It seems to be trying to stop behind the Amazon truck in front.
You're here. Please make sure it's clear before exiting.
How did I like it? I really appreciated that the Waymo drove very well even in bad visibility conditions, such as when the sunlight was coming directly into my eyes at a low angle, that the car was clean, that I could listen to my preferred music, and even get work done without worrying about a driver, and that I could ride with my pet. I also liked that the rooftop display showed an animated pedestrian graphic like this, to show the drivers of the vehicles around when passengers are getting out of the car, or when the Waymo is waiting for pedestrians to cross at an intersection. However, I would like to point out a couple of things to keep in mind. First, since all the cars look the same as we saw in this video, you'll have to find the car that is displaying your initials on the rotating LED display on the roof when there are several Waymo cars around. Otherwise, you can get confused. For example, we just saw at least 7 Waymo vehicles from this corner in the space of 20 seconds. Second, as you saw at the beginning of this video, when picking up passengers in a rather busy area like this, Waymo might update the pickup locations multiple times. In my case, I received a total of 3 update messages while I was waiting in the area I requested for the pickup. I first crossed the crosswalk, walked a bit, and then turned around a corner, walking about 450 feet before I finally found the Waymo car, stopped about 130 meters from the location I initially requested. This is why the other passenger walking with the dog couldn't get to the car as quickly as I did. 130 meters was not a very long distance to walk in my case, but it's worth keeping in mind that there may be extra walking needed in urban areas to get to the vehicle, which could be inconvenient if you're walking with luggage, wearing high heels, in a hurry, and so on. I noticed another case in which someone else had a similar experience in the city. I could see that this passenger was looking around, confused about the pickup location. This Waymo vehicle was dropping off a passenger, and was not the vehicle this person in the cap was waiting for. And finally, the person's actual Waymo car passed by, and waited some distance down the road for the passenger to walk over to it, even though the road near the passenger was very much empty. And it wasn't obvious why the Waymo didn't stop closer to them, compared to human drivers who are looking for people to pick up. This difference in behavior may be due to the Waymo technology's current and perhaps overly cautious method of picking up passengers, which seems to involve first finding a safe place to wait and then requesting that the passengers come over to it. Questions and feedback are always welcome. Thank you for subscribing and watching.